So this is a Nature's Head composting toilet. See if I can show you around. I'm in my fifth wheel here. So anyway, that's what it looks like. It bolts to the floor. It has hinges that are buckles there. There's two compartments, an upper and a lower, and then that's a urine tank, and that's the intake for the air that goes down into the composting chamber. There's a very small fan right there that runs continuously, and it's a very low draw on electrical, then you can't hear it at all. And that's an 1.5 inch piece of flex tube that comes up and vents the unit, and that's very important. Creates negative pressure in the composting chamber, and odor hasn't been a problem at all. And if anything, you're more likely to get odor from the urine. I'll lift the cover here. So that's what it looks like inside. Actually, let me open this. This door opens like that. Anyway, the plastic, I'm real happy with the quality of it. The plastic's high density, so it doesn't absorb stains very easily. The unit I took out seemed that it was kind of prone to absorbing stains, and particularly any minerals from the urine. So anyway, that's solved two problems for me. One of the main ones was water. I got to drag my water in, so having to use that to flush the toilet was very inefficient. The other thing is what you do with your, the black water once you've filled the tank. And so with this, it's legal. Once this is composted a while, you can legally throw it away in a trash. Or what I do is I dig a hole out in the woods and just let it continue to compost. So anyway, I'm real happy with this unit, and I'll show some videos of how I installed it and what's going on with that. So before we put the new toilet in, we'll have to take the old toilet out. It'll be held down by two bolts, one on either side, and then there'll be a water line you'll have to disconnect and plug, or hopefully it has a valve on it. Should look like that. And then I made a simple tin cover for that. Hopefully the tank is empty and been cleaned out, and I've never had an issue with smell. I could have put caulking on it, but I chose not to. Now, even though I put laminate flooring in this bathroom, the flange for the toilet was still standing proud. So to take care of that, I took some more of the laminate flooring. I had to make a spacer. It's about an 1/8 inch thick or so. That goes in there. Then I screwed that spacer down. And next, I have to put these in where they go. There should be a schematic, or you can measure the unit when you get it. So anyway, that also allowed me to move the unit over. It's not centered over the drain. You'll have to run a 12-volt wire to the unit. This is marine cable, but any armored type of low voltage DC cable will work. So I just, I'm soon soldered those up before I wrap them up. Very low voltage, and then I'll walk you around. I'll show you how I ran it and picked up the 12 volts for it. So that's ready to put back in. Pretty simple and straightforward. And so you just screw these go in the side, and that's what holds the unit in. And you need to have that secured to the floor, because there's a foot wheel, let's call it a star wheel, that you'll step on to turn the auger in order to facilitate the composting. So the unit needs to be vented. It comes with a piece of 1.5 inch flex that's about 6 feet long. And then it's got to come out of the trailer somewhere. So in this case I chose the roof. This is called a no-hub coupling. Normally it would have some clamps on each side of it, right there. And then this is an 1.5 inch PVC pipe, goes up through the roof. And I'm holding it in place with some plumber's tape. So the vent for the toilet happened to come out under the solar panel. can see that. So I caulked the heck out of it. It looks like I put some tape on it, and been raining and storming, and I haven't taken on any water as far as I know. So on the wiring, I used a 16 gauge. That's a marine wire I had from when I was working on my boat. Then I ran through this covered space. You can see I drop down, come around. That's where my inverter and charger are. You see there's the wire coming down. Comes into the battery compartment, and there you see it's on a fuse, and then have alligator clamps because it's getting tight. This is not the cleanest battery setup, but it was easier to just put some clamps on it than try to get another ring on those terminals. Anyway, that pretty much shows you how I did the electrical, at least. So far so good. Make sure you put a fuse on it. So this is the toilet disassembled. You have the urine container. That comes out like that, and you have to dump that every day or two normally. Then you have, this is the part that you have to take out and dump. So this was just dumped a little bit ago, and they say not to clean it because all that bacteria in there is what's composting the material. So one of the things I've found, I've been using peat moss, which I like. You can also use the cocoa core, but you have to expand and stuff, and it works, but I prefer this. So there's an auger in here, as you can see. When that auger turns, it doesn't necessarily get to the corners and the sides of the container, and what that does, it kind of insulates the inside of the container from the feces and the toilet paper. So when you go to dump it, what remains behind, this is basically just a peat moss. And if you smell it, and I've been using this for months, if you smell it, it smells like dirt. It's not a very strong odor at all. So that was one of the good things about the design, I thought. So when I actually dump it, what comes out on top is usually fairly dry peat moss. And now if you have a problem, one of the problems I had was where the urine goes through here, in the front here, there's this trap door. And, at times I got toilet paper jammed in there, and I think I was getting urine coming back into the feces holding tank, and that caused not a major problem, but I had to change out the peat probably sooner than I would have had to otherwise. But since then I've eliminated that problem mainly by making sure there's no toilet paper sticking up where the door can catch it, and you do that by using your foot to turn this star wheel. That's what turns the auger. Now another important thing, one of the most important, this unit has to do this. I hope that's clear. See how that slides on and off? Doesn't look that bad, but when it's against the wall and trying to get in there to see it, that's a little bit of a challenge. So you need a minimum amount of clearance from your back wall to get this up high enough to slide it off. You just simply dump the urine bucket. Fortunately, you just lift it enough. I'm not secured to the floor, but you lift it enough just to pull it in and out. So I think that's kind of an overview. I'm going to show you what it looks like when I dump the peat in. So on the auger, you just step your foot on it. I'm going to dump in some peat. So it can use some more. They recommend up to the auger, and I'm a little bit shy of that. So anyway, that's how you, I was pretty messy there. I was doing it with one hand. And then, so this is how it goes back together. Now this is important. I have 4 inches of clearance to this hinge. The reason that's important, you got to do that. You need a certain amount of clearance to lift that. You might be able to go a little closer. I went with 4 inches. And then after that's in, take the cap off the urine bottle. Urine bottle in there. So this needs to be anchored down. Here, like this. So the unit has buckles on the side, goes like this, to secure the bottom to the top. So the toilet's back in, bolted down. Now all we got to do is plug in the fan and then hook up the vent. That's simple. Good for another month, 2 months, 3 months, who knows.